Hey guys, so a couple weeks ago I offered a free brand audit for three businesses that I would choose from the people that applied. And one of the businesses that I chose was Kari Gierach Photography, owned by Kari Gierach. And I had a video call with her to talk through the brand audit and my findings and my advice for her going forward. And I decided to record the video call so that hopefully you guys could get some value out of it as well. So you can watch that following this. I just wanted to give you a little backstory of what you can expect to see. So thank you, Kari, for being a part of this brand audit. So like I said, I went through and wrote some answers to your questions that I had sent you to fill out in order to apply for the brand audit. And then I have tons and tons of information to share with you. So I want to jump right in. So I'm going to share my screen now. Just like this. Okay. Can you share my screen, or can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, I have in here your answers to your questions, and I saw in here, yeah. So you said that you're hoping to add in birth photography to your offerings. I think that's really awesome. It's something that, like you mentioned, further down the line, that not a lot of people are offering, and you're very qualified to offer it. So I think it's a perfect niche for you. You said in here that your tagline could potentially be unposed real life photographs for families. And I really like that. I think maybe you could possibly say growing families, especially
I like that a lot.
the avatar that you had put in here. She already has a couple kids. So that was just one little thought I had there. And then you had a really great explanation of your perfect customer, and it was very specific, which I was impressed. And I had a couple questions. What is it that made you choose a mom that's having her third baby rather than a first or a second child?
Yeah, so most people, or most moms that like this type of photography, have usually had a kid before, and some of them have not had great birth experiences. So like my ideal client is someone that I don't want her to have had a bad experience before, but perhaps she has, and so that's why she's looking for alternative options. And I think most moms that have had kids, they kind of realize how amazing that moment is. And as a first-time mom, I mean, most people, not everyone, but most people go into it just not really knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
Once you've had a child, a lot of times moms with kids realize how special it is. And a lot of times with a third baby, that might be the last baby. So perhaps that's the last time they're going to have this experience. And so hiring a photographer would be something on their mind, knowing it's maybe the last time that they'll do it.
Yeah, the way you explain that makes a lot of sense to me, because my instinct at first was to go with mom having her first baby, but I can understand how there'd be so much anxiety around so many unknowns, and this being her first time going through this, that she might not want a photographer in the room.
Right.
Whereas if this woman knows what's going to happen, she's pretty comfortable, then she'd be more comfortable with that. Do you think, have you done a third baby birth photography before?
It's actually all I've done. All of my clients have been
Good.
third-time moms, and most of them have had like either two boys or two girls, and thinking that the last one might be a different gender. So that's a big piece to them, you know, kind of wanting that moment of like what the gender is of the baby.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. That's great. My brain was telling me that maybe because it's the third baby, they usually say with each baby the labor goes faster. So maybe you might not make it to the
right.
But if you've done it twice successfully already, I think you can do it.
Yes.
All right. So I also made a comment here that this mama is big.
Yes. Yep.
She is working part-time, and she has two kids with a third on the way. So for you to make all of your touch points with her and everything on your online presence as simple, clear, and easy to navigate as possible. You will be guaranteed success that way, because she needs things to be crystal clear. And I think you already know that. So, how you're serving them. I loved all of this too, and I hope that going through these questions kind of helped clarify things in your own mind. Sometimes, for me, just the act of typing this stuff out really helps me like get all of the jumbled thoughts in my head into clear sentences. Did you have that experience?
Yeah, and just like taking the time to do it,
Yeah,
it's like right, it's all in my head, but is it really articulated? Or, now that it's written out, it's going to be easier to use
totally,
some of the words and
totally.
goals that I have
Yes.
to write it out.
And I think like a lot of this stuff that you wrote in here can be really good copy for your site.
Okay.
And I highlighted some things in here that I think would be good things to touch on, especially on like your about page or when you're explaining what your services are like.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I ensure she knows I bring a calming energy to her birth. I come as an extra support person and a cheerleader. I say I will talk about in a little while that I think it's really important for you to highlight the fact that you are a previous labor and delivery nurse,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know personally, but I would assume that not a lot of birth photographers have that qualification.
Mm-hmm.
And that will make them feel so much more confident in not only the photography that you're going to be able to provide because you know what to expect, but also that if shit hits the fan, you can even help in that sense too.
Yeah.
So to highlight that on your about page also, and these other words on the line, I take the stress away from new moms and dads. They get to put down the camera and feel fully confident they will get excellent photos, which very similar to weddings, just not having to have one extra thing to worry about. I mean, birth can be a dangerous thing in itself. So to just have someone else taking care of that and know that those photos are going to be amazing is super valuable. Yeah, and then the last piece was you want them to feel honored, safe, and know. Yeah, I think this is important to call this out when you're talking about your birth photography services. And this might be something that you even need to put in your contract.
Yeah.
You will, approve any photos, that they will have to approve any photos that are going to be posted, that could be, potentially,
Sensitive.
yeah, sensitive photos.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that you're recognizing that. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And so never mind. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. Okay. Oh yeah, this is really great that you're getting a lot of repeat clients. Where do you typically request people write reviews after they've had service?
So far I've only asked for Facebook reviews.
Okay.
So that's it so far.
Are you listed on Google?
I have to actually look that up. I don't think I am because I don't know if I ever verified it. I don't think I ever did.
Okay.
And I think the only reason I didn't, I was just kind of curious because I don't have a studio, and so it would just be my home address, which,
Right.
I mean, anyone can Google anyone, so I guess it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just felt weird in the moment, so I think I just have to go back and do that.
Yeah.
Verify it.
I did the same because I have a home office, so my business address is listed as my home address, but you can select to not have the address of the location listed.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
it's not public. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Okay, that
Yeah.
helps.
So yeah, definitely get your business verified on Google, and then I typically recommend having people review directly on Google because that's where, hopefully, if you're doing a lot of blogging, your SEO is going to help your Google search results.
Mm-hmm.
And then if people are finding you on Google, they're going to be able to see all of the reviews on there also. I mean, having reviews on Facebook is awesome too. But yeah, I don't
I
know
want people to find me on Google, so that's good. I really want that.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. Yes. I love that you are noticing that there's not a lot of birth photographers in Milwaukee, and this is a good thing because if you can become an industry leader, especially in this smaller city, you can hopefully become even an educator in the future if that's something that you'd be interested in doing.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you raising your prices. Then the trick of that is how do you express the value that you're providing to the potential client to make them willing to spend the more money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in a lot of ways, like I was talking about earlier, making your customer service clean and painless for them is huge value. Um, Telling them that you're a former RN nurse, another huge value point. Um, Having amazing reviews and social proof, also very valuable. And I think those three things are really key for you to highlight in your web copy
Okay.
so that people can see the value that you're bringing. And they'll be willing to spend the money on it. Okay. So one of my biggest things is, especially for photographers, like you're selling yourself and you're selling your personality. And I think you can kind of recognize that because you say here, when you get in front of people for a consult, I believe I earn their trust quickly, and I can definitely see that. I mean, the first time that I met you, I could definitely feel your personality, and you're very like easy to talk to, just warm and like nice, friendly person. So I feel the faster that you can get someone on a phone call,
Yeah.
the faster you can qualify those warm leads because they probably heard of you from a previous client. And then if you can immediately get on the phone with them and the review that they received is like qualified from experiencing how nice you are,
Yeah.
that consistency is just going to immediately be like, okay, great, let's find a date to book.
Yes. I think that's like a thing that's really hard for me right now is working full time. You know, like I'll get inquiries, and sometimes it's like, 12 hours later that I can respond, which I hate,
Yeah.
but I can't at my day job, and then the kids are at home. And so it's
Yep.
like I have to just figure out a time to just sit and
Yep.
respond to people during the day. But it's hard to.
So my recommendation for that is to have an automatic way for them to schedule a phone call. And two different ways to do that are through Calendly, 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 or Acuity, Acuity. Acuity or Calendly are both ways that you can create buttons on your website for people to immediately schedule a phone call. And then when they click to schedule a phone call, you can have a little questionnaire for them to fill out. So it'll automatically schedule the phone call to fit within your schedule on Google Calendar. And then you'll already have some information from them about what you're going to talk about.
That's a
So
really good idea.
yeah, you're saving time on both ends for both part pieces or both people.
Have you ever used Loom?
No, I
So I
haven't.
think I just downloaded it, and a couple of people said they like it. So instead of typing to respond to emails, it's a video, so you can send them the
Oh,
video,
yes.
which I think would help me a lot because instead of like retyping it, and I have my template that I'll use, and I'll kind of make changes based on what their actual inquiry is. But I feel like for me that would be great because if I could like talk to them on a video and explain what I offer and just kind of give them a 5-minute spiel, maybe that's too long, I don't know, a 3-minute thing.
Totally.
Response, and then they'll have a lot of questions answered right away, and they'll know if they want to proceed or not just based on
Yeah,
that.
that's a really good idea.
I get.
Yeah, I love that. Whenever you can do either video or like audio voice messages rather than email or texting, definitely going to save time. I'm just imagining like a woman's carrying a baby and then listening to this.
Exactly. Yep. Make it easy, right?
Yep.
They can replay it as much as they want. Go back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said here that you tend to not post on Facebook, that it's typically just on Instagram. Do you know that if you post through Instagram, you can toggle on the automatic post to Facebook also.
I do, and I probably just have to change how I do my hashtags because I don't know. I just am weird and I don't like the way the hashtags show up on Facebook. But I know that all I'd have to do is go to Facebook and edit the post and take them out.
Yeah.
But it's just too much sometimes, you know?
I know. In a perfect world, you should be creating content specifically for Instagram and specifically for Facebook because they are different platforms and they have different ways that they function. But if worse comes to worse and you don't have time and it's a matter of not posting on Facebook at all or having something that's pretty good, I vote for having something that's pretty good and at least getting some visibility and some stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's just my 2 cents.
I agree. I know I need to because I know, it's just the most popular way, not to compare, but like most other really successful birth photographers have a really high following, and they're kind of sharing each other's stuff, and it's a good
I mean, in terms of your specific niche, I would definitely say that Facebook is a good way to go. Yes. And especially because you have all of your reviews on there. So maybe just think about how you can best spend your time, if Instagram is better at converting sales for you or if Facebook is better at converting sales, and then kind of figuring out which one you'd rather focus on.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
So how much profit would you hope your business to create in order for you to leave your day job, if you're willing to share that information?
Yeah, no, I'd love to match it, but probably at a bare minimum, I'd have to make at least 50,000.
Okay.
Should not be matching, but it would be enough for us for now, and I'd like to increase it,
And have you broken that down like monthly, like how many sessions you'd have to do?
Yeah, kind of ish.
Okay.
Like 2-ish. I'd probably take 2 births a month.
Okay.
Would be ideal.
And do you think that that's doable in terms of being on call all the time?
Yeah, I think being on call for sure, it's doable for me.
Okay.
I just really I guess one of my limiting beliefs is I just wonder, really realistically, could I book 24 people in a year? I just keep thinking of the big number. It's 24 a year. That's, I don't know. I think so, but
I think it is possible. It's a matter of the amount of leads that you have to get needs to be probably double what you're going to end up booking.
Yeah.
So it means getting your face out there a lot, getting people to know you, having strong credibility, and being online a lot.
To show too, is a big thing. So the more I can photograph this year and just get all that out there, that'll be really important.
Totally. And you said here that time management and being able to find time to work and plan to continue to work towards being a birth photographer, would passing off some tasks help you to achieve these future results faster?
Probably.
Is there anything that you could pass off potentially?
So actually, we just talked about getting someone to clean our house. I think that would be huge because we're doing that on the weekends, and it's just ridiculous. So we have a dog, so his hair, that kind of gross stuff. So we're actually just looking into that right now, which should help a little. One little thing.
Yep.
Big thing.
Lots of little things add up to a lot of time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would suggest you to keep thinking about that. If there's anything that you can pass off so that you can use your time to work towards your big goals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm ready to jump in. I put together some really big mock-ups for you, and I think you'll be excited to see what I have.
Excellent.
So over here, I have a ton of just general notes of things, and I think most of these I'm going to be talking through while I explain my desired layout for your website.
Okay.
I think the only things that I should probably touch on before we jump into that are the Instagram and Facebook suggestions that we had. So on your Instagram, this is what I would recommend for your Instagram bio, just to have your explanation of what you do first and foremost, and then some more personal information about you further down. And then I added this in there.
Okay.
I think that's really important to add.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't add up how many characters this is, so you might
Okay.
have to add or subtract things depending on how much room you have. And then I was curious why you chose to crop your Instagram images horizontally rather than keeping them square. Yeah.
Really no reason besides it's kind of a standard in the documentary photography world. So I had a mentor last year and she recommends doing it.
Okay.
It's just a cleaner look, I think, for the feed overall. When you
Okay.
square them, sometimes you lose a little bit of the image, like on the side. And so once I started, I actually really love how it looks.
Yeah.
A cleaner.
And this is really a personal preference. That, in my opinion, that because scrolling on Instagram is so small already, that the larger and more zoomed in that the image is when you're scrolling, the more eye-catching it's going to be.
Sure.
Yeah. But like I said, this is personal preference. It's a very subjective thing. And you can make that decision based on what you feel is best for you and what your clients are going to be most attracted to. But that's my 2 cents. And then on your Facebook banner image, I would recommend moving. I mean, obviously it says in there like family documentary photographer. So we're just removing that text so that it's not
just cleaner.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you follow Lottie Lillian on Facebook.
I follow her on Instagram, but not on Facebook.
Okay. On Facebook, she actually uses this marketing tactic of updating Facebook profile image and cover photo very often because it shows up like more frequently rather than just a regular post. So she's able to get a lot more traction by doing that rather than just sharing a regular image. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's kind of like a little hack.
Right. It's cool. I noticed too, like I know that my banner on Facebook, it does not look the same on the phone. So
right.
Yeah. It just looks bad.
Yeah, I would suggest just having one image there and then just changing that pretty frequently, depending on the most recent photo that's happening, or like I said, if there's holidays or something, then it would be easy-ish to update the cover photo and then write something in the caption about it. That's a good way to get some views.
Really good idea.
Yeah, and then the about story on Facebook, you can add an about the company, and I would recommend adding that. And that can be the exact same text as the about copy on your about page.
Okay.
But yeah, having that in there so people just get a little idea of who you are, what you do right away on Facebook. Okay, so I went through and put together a rough idea of what I would envision a website to look like.
Okay. And
so I'll kind of explain to you the reasoning for why I did the ordering like this.
Yeah.
So I learned this from Donald Miller, who his company is called The Story Brand. And he talks a lot about keeping everything above the fold as simple and clear as possible. Okay. So above the fold would be about here, so that they wouldn't have to scroll down to see the rest, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So the above the fold, they should be able to know who you are, what you do, how you do it, and possibly where, if you have a location-specific business. And then it should be very clear what the desired call to action is. And my suggestion, like I mentioned to you, doing either Calendly or Acuity, is to schedule a call with Kari. And when they click that link, they're going to automatically go to Calendly or Acuity to schedule a call, pick a date and a time, and fill out the short questionnaire so they're on your calendar. And then this text could potentially change, but I just pulled this from what you wrote in the questionnaire. Mm-hmm. And then a really awesome header image, which is very similar to what you have already right now, which is great. I saw over here that you have Milwaukee documentary family photographer. And at first I was like, is that necessary? Is that just part of the SEO tactic? I guess I should ask you, what was your reason for putting that on the left?
For like the city name or just the whole sentence?
Yeah, just the whole sentence.
I think because I didn't have my location anywhere else, so I wanted my location to be right on the top. It's like my pet peeve when you go to someone's site or you go to their Instagram, you have no idea where in the world they are.
Yeah,
so I wanted Milwaukee to be right on top. And then honestly, I think with this template, it gave me a little option just to do like one tiny like phrase, and so I wanted it to be like clear what I do.
Yep.
And then it was like the what you would call it, the oh my gosh, like the option tab on the right side.
Okay.
So
I think it's great. Really. No, that's really good that it says Milwaukee. I think you're totally right on board to do that. So this can be kind of controversial to some people to not have the other tabs up at the top here. But the reason why Donald Miller has this place is so that they know exactly what action you want to take. And for myself personally, this is what I like to do. It just erases a lot of confusion. And then we have all of the page links down at the footer, which is usually where they're going to end up anyways, because they're going to scroll all the way down. And then if they want more information, they can click on one of the footer links, like frequently asked questions, services, about, contact, etc. Okay, so scrolling down the line, the second chunk here would be something, I mean, honestly, it's invoking fear. It's invoking what their life would look like if they don't book with you.
Right.
And I really liked this paragraph that you had written in your about. And I know that this can be personal, that you might not want this to be front and center on your website, but I think this is so powerful and it's shocking and it gets people to feel emotion. Like everyone can feel what this potential outcome could feel like.
Right.
They don't want to feel that way.
It's funny because I love, like, I'm happy with it out there, and I always wonder, is it too much? Like, if you don't book, you're gonna die.
I don't think it's too much. I really don't, because it's true. It's your truth.
That's life, you know. It's just
you're telling your story. Absolutely. So I think this is great. And then having links here for them to view my services or schedule a call. So we're expressing what their life would look like without your services. Then this is similar to what you have already, having a grid of images, hopefully having a lot more birth photography in here down the line. Then follow this. We have, we want to express what their desired state is. So what their life would look like after they work with you or after they buy from you. So they're able to pause this moment in their life. These photos are for now, but you'll cherish them for years to come. And this text might change depending on you wanting to target birth photography. I really just pulled this text from from somewhere that I found it on your website, just as an example of the kind of conversation that I want to have here. And then below that, we have introducing yourself. I would recommend doing an updated photo shoot with your family, and I know that that can be a lot to ask, but it's kind of like taking your own advice.
Right, you know? For sure.
So have a really awesome photo of you and your family over here, and then a little snippet about you, and then we can meet Kari if we click it. And on your about page, like I mentioned, having even more information that you're a former RN and talk about yourself. Oh yeah, that's another thing I would say. So we spend all of this time talking about the viewer because they really are caring about themselves. Like, how are you going to help me? Mm-hmm. And then they do want to know about you, but in some ways they're still thinking about themselves. Like, how are you going to help me?
I didn't do that.
What was that?
How do you do that?
It's kind of like telling your story from the perspective of them. So like, I don't have a simple way of explaining this.
So I actually have a really hard time with this when I blog because I know all these facts about people. You know, it's like I'll spend a whole day with the family and then I always say like, oh, I think she's a great mom or I think they're great. And it's like, stop it. Like the I think business. I
Yeah.
just write that all day. I'm like, I need to stop that, but I don't really know. I need to get better at like the storytelling.
Yeah. So I just thought of an example. So for a long time, I was doing wedding invitations and I had, planned and designed the wedding invitations for my own wedding. So I had a lot of personal experience of going through that process. So I would say things like, I know what it's like to have to plan a wedding. It's exhausting. Don't make the mistake I made. Like telling your story.
But they're living through it.
Right. Like being a guide for them to make different decisions. Or to make the right decision, I guess. Okay, so moving right along. Then we have services. I think it would be really great to have your services called out here with a real simple snippet about each one. Mm-hmm. And then each of these learn more buttons would all go to the same page.
Okay.
But just having a button under each one just keeps everything uniform. And then an image above each one of an example of that type of session. What it's like to work with me. I love that paragraph.
I love that.
And then kind words from past clients. It is super, super powerful to put social proof on your website. Mm-hmm. So you can pull these right from Facebook, or if you have clients you want to reach out to on email to get reviews from. And then I didn't type this in here, but if you can type in their name and potentially how many kids were at the session, or I don't know, any other information that would be helpful for the viewer. Like maybe you could say what type of session they had. You could say half-day session, family of 4, or something like that, next to the person's name, whoever said it.
Yeah. Or even like if I do, like for my birth people, like where they birthed, where they birthed, or
yes, totally.
Gender of the baby was, or whatever, baby
exactly.
Number 4, authentic, or whatever.
Yep. And then having a photo from the session right here too. Mm-hmm. And then below, so I think it'd be great to have this bottom piece as a static header that's the same throughout every page. So at the bottom of every page, they can see your social links. This is just a little Instagram grid that would be nice if you're interested in that. But then the About You is at the bottom of every page. And then here is what Donald Miller says, your junk drawer, where you put all of your other contact links. So Meet Kari, portfolio, services, blog, frequently asked questions. And then I do recommend having a basic contact page in addition to the phone call link.
Okay.
Just so that if people are really confused or like the scheduling isn't working for them, they just click the contact page and it has your email there if they need to just send you an email.
Okay. It's so fun.
Are you feeling good about this?
Yeah. Well, the website, I mean, it was unbelievable. The learning curve, I think, of it, like it looks so easy. Like, just pick a template. It's like, okay. And then you try to plop your pictures in there and they don't look good. And then you want to take some pieces out and then the whole thing's all jumbled. It's such a headache.
I know.
Easy.
Yeah. And Squarespace is kind of strange that like you input your text and your photos and information in one area, and then you have to go into the style editor to actually make changes to the way it looks. It's a little bit clunky that way, not super intuitive. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pause this this recording because I think we got a lot of really great information.
Thank you.
And then we can continue to chat after I pause the recording, all right?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.